This is where I lived when I was like 9 years old. Right there where that refrigerator is, that patio right there, that used to be our place. We used to live there. There used to be a bunch of prostitutes out here. It used to be an all black neighborhood. The Chateau. Childhood memories.
Let's get some therapy. I realized that I've been identified as the family scapegoat. So let's listen to the therapist.
Jerry Wise, and I want to talk about odd ways narcissistic families punish the scapegoat. There are a lot of people who are not even aware that they're a scapegoat in the family. Maybe some of these traits will help you to understand that more. Roles like scapegoat, mascot, lost child, golden child, those type of roles are manufactured roles, and they're manufactured deep within the family emotional system and often are unconscious. People wouldn't even, well, I'm not scapegoating them. They don't even realize they're even doing it because it's so deep within the family system, deep within the DNA of their emotional system. And in fact, for many generations. So let me talk about some of those traits. Number one, gaslighting. Manipulating the scapegoat's perception of reality, making them doubt their own feelings, their own memories, their own thoughts.
I'm a terrible father. I was a terrible husband. I've never done anything for my family. I've never done anything but just be just terrible. Just ridiculous.
Their own rationality, the past discussions, making it to be something in which they are wrong and they don't see it correctly. And so
I do everything wrong. I've never done anything right. Everything I've done has been wrong. But yet, everyone's life improved once I entered into it. But I'll move on.
In recovering from that, we want to learn how to nail our foot to the floor. So wherever they dance with us, we're going around in a circle and we stay where we are. And that's an important learning process for a scapegoat because they will want to dance you all over the room. And we want to either distance ourselves or we want to nail our foot to the floor. Now,
I've decided to distance myself because the toxicity is just ridiculous.
Number two, the silent treatment. Let's isolate the scapegoat. If they're causing trouble, if they're a truth teller, if they see too much, if they're bringing up too many secrets, if they're bringing up too much information that we don't want to talk about as a family or address, whether it be dad's alcoholism, mom's narcissism, sister's abuse, then we are
your father's narcissistic abuse as you grew up.
Going to have to use the silent treatment to isolate you from this reality because we would like you to shut up. And so we can punish you with shut up by we're not going to talk to you and we're going to isolate you. And
phone number got changed. Punishment. You no longer have access to your children. And guess what? They don't want to talk to you either. The group think. Not because I did anything to them directly, but just because you say so.
And I think that's a very powerful but very also abusive thing to do, the silent treatment. Number three, triangulation. We bring in a third party to go against the scapegoat. So we start forming coalitions against the scapegoat. And of course, the narcissist or the narcissistic family will find those who are more amenable or more manipulatable about this triangulation because maybe they don't. And as a pastor, I experienced a lot of that triangulation and being seen as being bad and going, what? I don't know that I did anything. And again, there was gaslighting. Oh yeah, you never said hi to so and so, which I don't even remember ever never saying hi. If I did, I maybe was distracted or something, but I never intentionally didn't say hi to somebody. But that was the reality. And then that they pull in other people, Jerry's been doing this. And people who don't know the wider picture.
Yeah, I have a journal from a situation where we were at your aunt's house, and you accused me of all these things, said that I fell asleep, and I was just doing everything I did was just wrong while we were at your aunt's house, and so that's what I identify with on this right here. I'll share that journal here in another segment.
Picture may be vulnerable to someone coming and pulling them in to be a triangle against me or whoever the scapegoat is in the system. So we'll bring in other people. I call that the cabal. All those who have joined together emotionally against a scapegoat. And I know families, even extended families, who have become a cabal because the family is successful, but mostly all alcoholics. The scapegoat, has it been in recovery, is now head of the company for the family. I mean, an actual business. And now he's shoved out because we don't want you talking about our dad or mom as alcoholic. We don't want you to name us as alcoholics. We don't want you to even come close to that. So we're going to have to punish you and you'll be the scapegoat. Number 4, projection.
For me, that's just healthy communication and confronting situations that need to be confronted. And I'm not going to just do this go along to get along. That's what everyone would like to do. I'm not going to do that with my siblings. I'm not going to do that with Brianne. I'm not going to do that with Natasha. And I'm definitely not going to do that with my children. If there's an issue, we're going to first identify it, and then we'll talk about it. And then we'll come up with solutions if we can to reconcile and resolve and move forward. But it's not going to just be this, don't say anything, don't talk about this, don't talk about that, and go along to get along. Those days are over.
We're going to do projection if we are the challenged part of the family by the scapegoat, often a truth teller or someone who just doesn't see it the way the dysfunctional family sees it. And then projection is simply, I'm going to blame you for everything I think, I feel, and I do. And I'm going to accuse you of doing that, feeling that, and thinking that. That's projection. In other words, I'm not a narcissist. You're a narcissist. You're the real narcissist as the scapegoat.
And that what Janine just said in her comments on one of the videos, I'm the narcissist. You're not a narcissist. I am.
But I'm not a narcissist. And again, it gets pretty classic sometimes where it's kind of just obvious what's going on. And we even see that in all parts of our society where there's a lot of projection going on. And the people who are narcissistic are doing what they are accusing others of doing. Number 5, competitive comparisons. I need to compare you to someone else to demean you, to erode your self-esteem, to have you question yourself. And you're not like your brother. I wish you were like your brother or your sister or your aunt or whomever.
Drake's a better father than you. Drake's a better father than you've ever been. Man, get out of here. This guy is just a absolute pushover enabler. Not me. I won't do that. Sorry.
Or I wish you were like Joe's family and his success going to college. He makes lots of money, implying that you don't make enough money. And again, that comparison it's actually competitive comparison abuse is really what it is, because they could say nothing. Who cares? I mean, if he makes more money, he makes more money. Okay, that's his life. and they edit out everything else. He may use all of his money to buy cocaine. I don't know. So him having a lot of money may not
Drake and Natasha.
be a good thing, but it corrects your value. It assigns your value. And in a dysfunctional family, in a narcissistic family, you are assigned a value. And I'd almost like to put price tags on everybody in a family and show them how they have assigned the value to everybody in the family. Having done family groups, having done family therapy groups with a number of families together, it's a great exercise to see how everybody's valued and what your price is. Number 6, emotional blackmail, using guilt and emotional manipulation to control or punish the scapegoat. Many people are now more familiar with emotional blackmail, where, well, if you really loved me, you'd do that. You know, it's like, oh, I need to feel guilty about the choice I just made because, you know, well, I'm sure other kids, comparison, I'm sure other kids do it differently with their parents. Comparison.
This is how you were raised again, with your father always focusing on like, oh, what do you love your mother more than me now? And did your mother's doing more than me now? And then turn around and refer to you later on as your mother, knowing that he doesn't really like her. So then he'll refer to you as her, and then you guys would feel absolutely crushed emotionally because you know he doesn't really care for your mother. So it's all abuse, unfortunately. It's abuse. Not saying your father's a terrible person. He's a nice man, but his parenting style and how he parents is abusive. And this is clearly something generationally that you guys have learned that goes through your whole family line. I don't know much about your family line, but I encourage you to do some research.
Plus emotional blackmail. So there's those two together. You know, they can even be used in a combination. Number 7, invalidation. Your opinions, your memories, your beliefs don't matter. Your wants. I remember talking to my mother one time and talking to her several times about a situation. And my mother was not all bad. And as most of us are, not all bad, nor all good. But when you have a narcissist, then you...
Thank you. That's what I just said. And this is what I stress all the time. No one's all bad or all good. That's where the imbalance is. You got to acknowledge their strengths and weaknesses. We all have them.
You got some real problems because you are just invisible in that invalidation. And, you know, whatever you say just goes right over their head. It just doesn't even... Are you talking to me? Because they have deer in the headlight eyes that you can tell they're just not taking it in because you're being invalidated. What you're saying and what you want really doesn't matter. And I'm not hearing it. I'm smiling, but I'm not.
I always have to follow the deadbeat dad narrative. I was never there. I've never done anything. The same narrative that fits your mother. So see, there's a pattern. There's just a system of thinking that is unhealthy, and it's from abuse.
I'm not hearing it. Number 8, selective memory. Getting someone to admit to the past and things that have gone on. They may go, oh yeah, well, we did go to the lake, but I don't remember you ever being, you know, abused by the neighbor next door, blah, 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 blah. So we have a selective memory about those experiences. And that selective memory is very frustrating because you can't get them on the stand. You can't hold them to account. They will just have selective memory or deny the past. You know, no, that never happened. I don't know where you got that from. Because dad told me, because my sister told me, because that's where I got it from. I mean, you know, they didn't have any axe to grind, but it's still, no, they were mistaken. Okay, that's a pretty important thing to be mistaken about. And again, it's a way to punish the scapegoat with selective memory. Number 9, and these are all about the scapegoat and how they cast the scapegoat. They cast the scapegoat as unbelievable. You know what he told me?
I'm lying. Every video I've made, there's some comment talking about how I'm lying. What am I lying about? I have records, and everything that I'm talking about is actual facts and my experience of things that have happened to me. What am I lying about? Let me know in the comments.
The other day, isn't that crazy that Jerry said that to me? I mean, that's just so unbelievable. And then tells other people, and then they believe I'm unbelievable. So they'll cast me as unbelievable. They'll cast me as manipulative. Well, he's just trying to ... However you fill that in. The scapegoat is a manipulator. They just try to manipulate things. Number 10, they will cast you as having changed for the worst. In other words, if you become a scapegoat or you become a truth teller, then you've changed for the worst, not the best. And so other people say, you notice how different he is now? That's just not the same old Mary. I don't know what happened to Mary.
Well, that's the issue that my siblings have with me, because I just don't fit the narrative that, we were used to communicating in. I just don't fit that narrative anymore. So I totally apply that to my relationship with my brothers and sisters, all of them on both sides.
Mary. Well, Mary woke up and Mary, started getting treatment or therapy or, some counseling.
And my long-term friends as well. Spencer, Ron. Yeah, same.
And she now sees things differently. But that's considered a change for the worst, not a change for the best. 11, they will cast you as the true cause of the family anger and divisions. You're the one dividing the family. You're the one causing all this frustration and anger. And you need to stop that. And we're going to put all that on you.
It's all my fault. Let's change the phone number. Oh, make our mothers look like a terrible person pitting these videos on the internet. But yet they can go ahead and make me look like a terrible person to you, telling you lies that I abuse them when I've never did anything but give them my best. Did we have disagreements? Yes. Of course, all adults do. But I never did anything to verbally or physically abuse either of the women that I've had relationships with, my daughter's mother and my ex-wife.
And so the scapegoat gets painted with all of the family dysfunction. And I remember I've heard, I don't know how many times, a parent or a spouse of an alcoholic tells their child, well, you're the reason your dad drinks. I'm going, I know they didn't just say that. You're the reason the narcissistic mom acts the way she acts. You're the cause, not the person who's not taking responsibility for their own behavior. Number 12, you are cast as undeserving of information. We're going to keep information away from you. And, we'll limit that.
No game schedules, no graduation schedules, no, nothing. Okay, so I just make sure that I'm absent from all those type of events to fit the narrative that I don't care, and I've just never been there.
Information significantly. You don't know when family things are happening. You don't know why mom is in the hospital. You don't know why the siblings in the hospital. You don't know who had a baby or when they had the baby. We'll just hold information from you. And again, that's a punishment for you being cast as the scapegoat. Number 13, you're cast as the one who is detached while they are being over-enmeshed with you. It's a paradoxical and a projection type of punishment. In other words, they see you as too detached from the family, but they are over enmeshed with you because they make you too important and too, not important in a good way, important in a bad way. And they're always talking about you, obsessing about you, triangulating about you, blah, 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 blah. They don't see any of that happening. They only see you either trying to find some distance or trying to find a sense of self, and how distant and detached you are. And it's actually the opposite. You're trying to break free from the enmeshment. And most times people are trying to break free from the enmeshment versus break free from the family. Now, sometimes we have to break free from the family as well as the enmeshment. But both need to be addressed. And some people can break free of the enmeshment and still stay connected with the family. Well, I want to invite you to get some more training on this. I have an online program. You're new.
And I'll go ahead and close this video out here. That enmeshment piece is really important for me, because what I've learned now in my 51 years of age is that when you try to do your best by people, but bad things happen to you, when you are trying to do your best to people, family and friends that you come around, but bad things specifically happen to you in that process of trying to do good or right by people, that's not a situation that you want to be in. That means that those same people don't want the best for you. And so that's why those things manifest in that way, where bad things end up happening to me, because my family and friends truly don't want to see me do well. And it's sad. It's really sad. But I'll go ahead and close out there, and there's a lot more videos to come. All right. I'm out.